Hello and welcome to the Dark Mount video review for Transformers 4 Age of Extinction, Generations, Hound. Why is this not Bulkhead? What is this? I don't even... So, Hound, whatever, is some kind of Oshkosh military transport gun doom truck. I don't know military vehicles very well, so he's a thing. Unfortunately, he does not have his movie-accurate camo, which is lame. Lame. It was lame before, and now, since the announcements at BotCon, we know that there's going to be an Autobot 5-pack with more premium-esque colors of all of these figures that do have better paint jobs, and this guy does have his camo, so yeah. Fool me once, Hasbro. I guess I'm waiting next time around. He's cool. I gotta admit, he's cool. He's totally and ridiculously, utterly out of scale with all of the other figures in this line. It just does not make any sense how small he is. He's a Voyager figure, but he's just... he's like not a Voyager figure. It's really weird. It's not like he really gets that much bigger either. He's a little bit bigger, but he's really short. And this thing should be big. Like, this is a big vehicle. I don't know why he's the size of, like, a mid-sized car. It's really bizarre. I think they should have made him a leader or something. Like, it's just not... I haven't even seen the movie yet, and I know this is just wrong. Just based on vehicle size alone, I'm pretty sure it's also wrong in bot mode, which is lame, because I really do like this toy, but if it's just horribly, glaringly out of scale the entire time I own it, it might start to bug me after a while. Yeah, so there's not really that much to talk about in this mode. I do want to talk about these little details, though, because they have nothing to do with transformation, and there's actually a lot of really good detailing going on this figure. I'm pretty sure this whole like roll bar thing up here is black on the new premium version. And these guns do not peg on very solidly. That would really be one of my only complaints about this figure. It's kind of unfortunate because they look really cool on him, but you gotta be really careful about not touching them. At least on my figure. You can even see up here this one's already kind of starting to unpeg on this side. But they do hold on. They're not like falling off. It's just they're a little touchy. But yeah, all of this stuff in here, like this little spare wheel and this little thing, these have nothing to do with transformation. They're not used at all. It's just kind of there to complete the movie accuracy. And this does exist in the movie prop car, so that's pretty cool. Well, you already saw the size comparison with Crosshairs. Yeah, really, roughly, way too close in size. It just looks kind of weird, because this looks like it should be a bigger vehicle, and then you have this massive car. So, this is either the largest car in the world, or this thing is way too small. And then for more scale horribleness, now we have a Hummer, too. That is out of scale with the rest of the line. That is still kind of basically the same size as this military transport vehicle. Because that makes sense. To transform this dude, I'm going to start by just popping off all the guns. So, these guns here peg in with these long tabs there and there. These guns peg into the size of his hips in the same place that they peg in robot mode, so you'll see that in a second. And this thing uses these tab holes and some of these tab holes. There's way too many tab holes everywhere on this thing to peg into a couple of these here. like that. But if you come around here, you will see it does have a pin in there, which allows you to fold this bottom half up like that, and you can collapse it down and pull this little whatever this is supposed to be out, and you have a little triple-barreled weapon of doom, which is pretty cool. And he also has a knife pegged under here, which you probably want to take out, because that's not where that goes in robot mode. And then these two guns will stay in here because they actually peg in the same place. They just kind of chill. They just chill there. Alrighty, so for transformation, you pretty much just want to break up the entire back of this thing. There's not any real rhyme or reason to it. These things are going to fold up, so you kind of just want to split this whole back end like this, and then these parts will split apart. You can kind of give them a little bit of a tug. We'll see why later. And then this separates from there on both sides, and then you free up the legs. And then these are the two arms, so you can just peel them apart like that. And you will end up with this kind of situation going on. Then what you want to do is take this, fold this up like that, and that's going to fold up and form the chest. And then you want to take these. This area right here is going to actually peg into the window, or the side mirror, sorry. But, sorry, before you do that, we're going to want to use this little gray bit right here to help you pop out this whole thing right here. We're just going to pop around and tab in to the chest to form the head. And you can fold these two wheels back in there. And then you're going to want to pin these in on the sides. Like that. And you can take the entire waist and swivel that forward. And then these little feetsies go down. He got feet. And then here, this paneling disconnects right there. And basically, that's just his arms. And there you have Hound, who should be Bulkhead. It's so irritating in his robot mode. You can store pretty much all the weapons back on him. Like I said, these little guys kind of holster on his hips, where you would expect guns to chill. Although, again, they really don't peg in anywhere near well enough. So I'm going to attempt to show this off in a little bit closer detail. You can see the plastic there is supposed to kind of stick between these two other pegs, but it really doesn't. It kind of like scoots itself out because they're too close together for the plastic here. It's not quite as bad on the other side, but if I try to push it in more, it will also scoot out to that point. So especially this side, I usually have to sit here and like hold it in for an extended amount of time to make the plastic stay, and even then it really doesn't stay in very well. So that's kind of annoying. Because of that, I sometimes actually will try to find a different place to put that weapon just so it doesn't keep falling off. So there's not really any good place to store that I've been able to find on his person. You can kind of use smooth. You can kind of use these back holes here to peg some stuff in like that and have this kind of across his back. but since the handles are at an angle, that kind of looks a little weird. And it also makes him incredibly back-heavy. And that actually is something I'm going to talk about now before I finish the weapons. He is incredibly back-heavy. He has like 0 heel support for a bot of his size, which is not that big of a deal because it's not like he has a huge backpack or something, but I really do just prefer heel support on my figures, even if they don't think it's necessary. He's just a little bit wobbly, and the other problem is that to make his head actually looking up, you do kind of have to bend him forward a little bit, which exacerbates the problem just a tiny bit. Again, he's not unstable per se, he's not falling over. This problem right here is actually more annoying to me than what I'm talking about right now, so it's not like this is a huge concern of mine. He is a stable-esque figure. I just wish he had a little bit more heel support so I didn't have to worry about him being so back-heavy. Not even back-heavy, just on the verge of leaning backwards all the time. It's kind of hard to describe if you don't have him in hand. It's not unstable, it's like on the verge of unstable, and you can feel it being on the verge of unstable, and it's kind of disconcerting. And depending on how you pose him, it can actually become actually unstable. So, I usually put this gun in his hand, in one of his hands or whatever, and then this little guy actually can mount on his chest, all Rambo-like, which is kind of cool. And then you are left with these two thingamajiggers, which little handles will pop out of them as well. So you can try to find places to put both of them. You can give him one of them like that or something, and then you can come back here and use those same posts from before. Except those posts also aren't very tight, and again, since these are kind of at an angle, it's weird pegging stuff into them. Things don't usually want to stay that well. So I kind of cheat a lot of times, and I'll actually kind of scoot open these wheels and just shove this in there. Because you pretty much can't tell it all unless you were looking directly there, and then it is stored away and nice for display. So, obviously, that's up to you guys. You might not want to shove something loosely into his back cavity, but whatever. It doesn't really do much of anything. And there you have him all armored up and looking pretty cool. Here he is with Dinobot Slash. So you can see he is not fat, which is kind of disappointing to me. I really like the fact that he has a giant gut in the movie. It's kind of hilarious. I don't know how they would have pulled that off in toy form, I guess, but he looks like, this is like young Hound, fresh out of the academy, and the one in the movie's like Chubster. It's gonna bug me even more in the movie that he's not Bulkhead, I think. This already feels like Bulkhead to me, but if he's got a giant gut, it's gonna be Bulkhead. I don't know why they named him Hound. I don't know if they just thought that Hound had more name recognition or something, or I don't know. I don't presume to know the reasoning behind these things. I just know that it bugs me. I love Bulkhead. He's like one of my favorite characters in all of Transformerdom, so I would have really loved him to be Bulkhead. I think that would be much cooler than Hound, because Hound was always boring. Hound was never an interesting character as far as I'm concerned in G1, so I don't know, whatever. I don't make the movies. So, like I was saying, he is really short. Let me grab the other Voyager I have. Voyagers. Here he is with Grimlock. And Galvatron. So yeah, he is shorter than all three of the other Voyager figures that I have, which is a little lame because he looks like he's supposed to be kind of a big dude. I don't know how much taller he is in the movie. He might be kind of a short, stout dude. So, I can't totally complain until I've seen the movie and I actually see how their scale shakes out in the movie. But just to me, he does not feel the size that he should be. Especially with the lacking gut and stuff like that. I'm not sure how movie accurate he's going to end up being as a figure. However, I'm also kind of looking at this whole line like movie 1, where they were new designs, they were trying something new with the toys. I feel like maybe the next movie and the movie after will get our like ROTF level primes where they really have these designs down and they've iterated on them a couple times, and you know, we get figures that are a little bit more movie accurate while being better in their alt modes, the way we did with ROTF and to a certain extent Dark of the Moon. For Articulation, his head is on, pop this out so it's not jiggling around. His head is on a kind of rotational joint, and his beard is made of squishy plastic. Actually, his whole head is kind of made of squishy plastic, but his beard especially is made of squishy plastic so it can rotate, which is cool. His shoulders are on kind of like universal weird things. I mean, they have rotation there, and then this kind of goes in and out. It's kind of a strange joint, but it works. Get a decent range of movement out of it, so I'm not complaining. I like the fact that it can go all the way out like that with this cut. You have upper arm rotation. You have kind of a double elbow thing going on there. And these arms are also partly made of squishy plastic, and then they also this thing. And see, this one stays on. I don't know what the problem is with this other one. I'm gonna try to like widen that up or something. I have no clue. This thing is on one rotation, so unfortunately you can't really get rid of that. That's gonna kind of always be behind his arm. But yeah, he's got a hard plastic thing in here covered by this soft plastic skin, which allows it to do some bending and moving and look cool. I know some people don't like these, but I think they're kind of an interesting design cue. I know there's a name for those, the bands of bullets they use in like Gatling guns and stuff like that, but I'm not sure what they are. Like bullet belt type thing. Yeah, I like that. So he does kind of have hand articulation. Obviously you can't go all the way around. It's limited from about here to about there. You could try to stress it further, but I would be worried about ripping this rubbery stuff. His waist is articulated. His hips are articulated, but you will knock the guns off if you do too much aerobic-y stuff. Going out to here, it's gonna pop your guns off. Pop your guns, pop your guns. And then upper leg, knee, no shin articulation. So unfortunate. There's no shin articulation, guys. This must be a terrible toy. There's kind of like a knee pad articulation, which is weird. I have no idea why this thing moves. It seems completely unnecessary to me. But whatever. And then you have this like side-to-side foot movement, but it doesn't move the rest of the thing, so it's pretty much useless. You really cannot do very much with that at all. And that is pretty much his articulation. Yeah. So I have no idea if you guys even saw the foot. That was off camera, and I don't know if it was off camera when I was doing it, so this is what I was talking about. The foot is just not really that helpful. You can't do very much with it. Basically just turns for transformation, and that's it. So all in all, I do like this figure. I really wanted this to be one of my favorites, I've got to be honest, but he's kind of not. And see, this is what I was talking about before. Like, why is he back heavy right now? It's kind of obnoxious. He's just got a couple things that kind of irk me. His size in general, especially in vehicle mode, is just wrong. It's just wrong. I like all the weapons, but like, I feel like they didn't give them enough places to actually store if you don't want to have him wielding 6 weapons at the same time. And, like, 2 of the areas that they're supposed to store anyway, which are already pretty limited, don't peg in very well. So, it kind of makes the experience not as fun when you're trying to peg weapons in and they're just refusing to stay attached. Because then basically I have to find another place to put them, or have them hanging off him like that, which just looks not good, or like deal with them falling off all the time, which is just kind of lame. None of those are great, fun options for display. But again, these are all kind of nitpicks. They don't ruin the figure for me. I do really enjoy him, but I think he could have been pulled off a little bit better. I would have liked to see his gut. I don't know if that was an addition that they made in the movie CGI design after the toy was designed. Not really sure. I don't know, but either way, my biggest complaint about this guy in general is just with the character. He should be Bulkhead. This is Bulkhead. It screams Bulkhead to me in the movie, in the previews, in the pictures, in the freaking toy. It's Bulkhead. Nothing about this says Hound to me. Nothing about this says cranky old dude. It just doesn't. It doesn't. This says crazy weapons expert who's gonna smash stuff up and be kind of goofy, and that's Bulkhead. Like, that, I just don't get it. Sometimes the movies do things and I just don't get it. And so far I've been pretty on board with everything this movie is doing. I just don't get this. This is the one, "Bae, you're ruining my childhood" kind of thing that I see here, because like, it just doesn't make sense to me. This is not Hound. It's just not. But whatever. I do recommend the figure. I was really hoping that they were going to announce like a leader class version of him or something at BotCon, and I guess they're just not. I don't know if that's going to maybe be at San Diego Comic-Con. I know they're probably holding some stuff back for that, because there's things that we just didn't see. We haven't seen a Stinger yet. We haven't seen the Viacons. We haven't seen... There's a bunch of stuff we haven't seen that I'm pretty sure Hasbro said a couple times that they were planning to make toys for all of the on-screen figures, and we've already seen 1 or 2 figures they've said are not on-screen. Like, apparently Snarl is not an on-screen character, which I find kind of disappointing, but if they're already producing toys for not on-screen characters, I would assume that they have them planned for all of the on-screen characters, unless they're not going with that anymore. So we should be getting a figure for pretty much everyone. And I was really hoping that we were going to see a Voyage or a Leader Bulkhead that was perhaps a little bit more, just in general. But this guy is not less. He's a good figure. He's just a little bit simple. He's a little bit unstable, and he's a little bit out of scale. And some of his guns have a little bit of an issue attaching. For me, those little issues still kind of just add up to a medium issue. For you, that might be kind of enough complaints to not go for this guy. I don't know. I do think his transformation is really interesting. I like the way this kind of folds up. Kind of reminds me of the Prime RID Viacons, the way that their whole car mode kind of folds up on itself. He's a good figure. He's just not as good as I wanted him to be, and he's not the character that I wanted him to be, so it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But I don't think I'm going to be regretting getting him. I just wish that they had put a little bit more effort into the actual design of the figure itself, instead of just going for aesthetics. Alrighty guys, that is pretty much it for Hound, so thank you for watching. I have a couple more AoE figures to review, and then I've got some more stuff on the way from Big Bad Toy Store as well. I have Dispenser coming from the Japanese Lost Age movie line. I have the Tailgate and Scrapnel little mini guys coming. And what else? Oh, yes, the second Warbitron figure. Noisy Pants or something ridiculous. I don't know. It's Brawl. The Warbitron Brawl is in the mail to me right now. So, yeah. And then I'll probably just be getting back on the road with some backlogged reviews. I don't know where I will start on those, but it'll be a surprise. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your days. Have really, really snazzy days.